Have you ever laid in bed, staring at the ceiling, knowing there's so much you need to do, but feeling like your body just won't move? Like some invisible weight is pressing you down, not out of exhaustion, but something harder to name. And then the thought comes in, sharp and quiet. Maybe I'm just lazy. But what if that voice is wrong? What if you're not lazy at all? What if you're just disconnected? We live in a world that celebrates productivity like a religion. Hustle harder, push through, no days off, and if you can't keep up, you're labeled weak, lazy, undisciplined. But that judgment misses something vital. Because the truth is, we don't shut down because we're lazy. We shut down because we've lost touch with our body, with our purpose, with the quiet voice inside that used to guide us. When you're disconnected from your own inner compass, everything feels heavy. Every task feels meaningless. Even joy feels out of reach. It's not a lack of motivation, it's a lack of meaning. In today's video, we'll explore why your so-called laziness might actually be a cry for reconnection. How modern life pulls you out of your own rhythm, drowns you in noise, and silences the inner wisdom that once helped you thrive. And we'll walk through practices, not hacks, not productivity tricks, but deep, grounded rituals that bring you back home to yourself. Have you ever noticed how you stop caring for your space when you stop caring for yourself? The laundry piles up. The dishes stay in the sink. Your room slowly begins to mirror the disconnection inside you. But this isn't proof of failure, it's a message, a quiet signal that something deeper is off. In Japanese culture, there's a word, karoshi. It literally means death by overwork, but there's a spiritual cousin to it, an opposite side we rarely name, death by disconnection. The slow fading of vitality when we lose our sense of aliveness, not from working too much, but from living without alignment. Reclaiming yourself starts with remembering. You are not a machine. You are not here to perform. You are a living system, and like any ecosystem, you need balance. You need pauses. You need moments of presence that bring you back to center. So, the next time you find yourself scrolling for hours, or skipping the things you once loved, don't shame yourself. Instead, get curious. Ask, what part of me has been ignored? What connection have I lost? And here are two gentle but powerful practices to help you begin that reconnection. The energy map. At the end of each day, jot down 3 moments, no matter how small, where you felt most alive, and 3 where you felt numb or drained. Over time, this becomes a mirror, not to criticize, but to listen. What gives you life? What quietly steals it? The inner morning. Before you reach for your phone, sit up, place your hand on your heart, and ask, how am I really? Let the answer come without fixing it. This 30-second ritual builds a bridge back to your inner world, one that can't be built through apps or alarms. You don't need to force your way into being productive. You need to soften your way back into connection, because the moment you stop abandoning yourself is the moment life starts flowing again. And maybe your stillness wasn't laziness. It was wisdom, waiting. We call it procrastination, but maybe it's something deeper. Maybe the reason you can't start that project, clean your space, or reply to that message isn't because you're unmotivated, but because those actions no longer feel connected to anything meaningful. When we're disconnected from our why, even the smallest task becomes a mountain. But here's what no one tells you. The way back isn't willpower, it's reconnection through presence. Think about how you go through your day. Do you rush through your mornings, staring at your phone as you brush your teeth, already behind before the day has begun? Do you eat in front of a screen, barely tasting your food? Disconnection doesn't just happen during big life changes, it happens in the smallest of habits, quiet moments we've stopped honoring. But in Japanese culture, there's a gentle reminder that still speaks. Ikigai, often translated as reason for being, it's less about grand purpose and more about quiet alignment. Ikigai isn't found in a big breakthrough. It lives in the small rituals that return you to yourself. What if making your bed wasn't a chore, but a declaration that today matters? What if your morning coffee wasn't just caffeine, but an invitation back into your body? These moments don't seem significant, but they're anchors. They tell your nervous system, you're safe, you're present, you're home. Here are two soft but powerful ways to begin returning. The presence. Pause. Once a day, during something mundane, washing your hands, waiting for the kettle to boil, pause and check in. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Notice your breath. Ask, am I here or am I on autopilot? That 1 second of awareness can start rewiring your entire relationship to your day. The mindful reset. Choose one repetitive task, folding laundry, doing dishes, watering plants, and turn it into a micro-ritual. Do it slowly, put on calming music, breathe. Let the task become your meditation. Let it be enough. Your day doesn't need more discipline. It needs more intimacy. More gentle touch points that say, you're allowed to move slowly. You're allowed to care for yourself with tenderness. And the more you approach your day with presence, the less you'll need to push yourself forward, because life starts moving with you again. So, what's one small ritual you can reclaim today, not for productivity, but for reconnection? Drop it in the comments. Let's remind each other. We're not lazy. We're just longing to come home to ourselves. And if this message is resonating, subscribe and stay close. This space is for all of us who are learning to begin again with softness. Because you are. You're not broken. You're not behind. You're simply out of rhythm with yourself. And the good news is that rhythm was never lost. It's just waiting for you to listen again. When we stop treating ourselves like machines and start treating ourselves like living beings, whole, cyclical, tender, we begin to remember what it feels like to come home to ourselves. Return to the moment and reclaim your wholeness. Have you ever found yourself endlessly switching tabs, opening apps without thinking, checking the fridge again even though you're not hungry? It's not a lack of willpower. It's a symptom of disconnection, a nervous system searching for regulation, a soul trying to anchor itself. We numb, scroll, snack, or shop, not because we're weak, but because we're trying to find something solid to hold on to, something that feels like home. But in Japanese wisdom, there's a phrase that gently interrupts this pattern: shin shin ichinyo, mind and body as one. It reminds us that you can't reconnect to life if you're disconnected from your body. That healing doesn't start with a new routine, it starts with a deeper reunion inside yourself. So many of us are walking around like floating heads trapped in thought, detached from a feeling, forgetting we have a body that holds so much unspoken truth. Here's what changes everything: embodiment. Small moments of returning. Let your breath become your compass. Let movement become medicine. Let silence become a sanctuary. When you listen to your body not as an obstacle, but as an ally, you start reclaiming your center. And from that place, clarity emerges. Peace isn't something you chase. It's something you return to when you stop abandoning your own presence. Try this. The 3-minute anchor. Set a gentle timer. Sit with both feet grounded. Close your eyes. Place one hand on your chest, the other on your belly. Breathe slowly. Ask, where am I holding tension? Let that awareness rise without fixing. Just notice. This practice isn't about control. It's about remembering that you still live here in this moment, in this body, in this breath. The self-check-in. Before you act. Before you jump to your to-do list, pause and ask, am I moving from connection or disconnection? If it's the latter, gift yourself 60 seconds of stillness first, not to be more efficient, but to be more alive. You see, you don't need more motivation. You need more restoration. You need to rebuild the bridge between your mind and your body so your life flows with you, not against you. So next time you feel that fog, that resistance, that ache to escape, don't fight it. Get curious. That ache might be your soul asking for reconnection. And that's not laziness. That's a message. Listen. What's one way your body is asking to be heard today? Drop it in the comments. Let's normalize this journey of coming home to ourselves. And if this video is helping you breathe a little deeper, stay a while. Subscribe. There's so much more waiting for you here. That feeling of heaviness, of constantly playing catch up with life, of being surrounded by things yet feeling completely unanchored, that's not failure. That's what disconnection feels like when it builds up over time. And in Japanese culture, There's a concept that names its antidote beautifully: utori. It's not just about physical space, it's about mental clarity, emotional spaciousness. It's the gentle pause between effort and rest, the breath between thoughts, the freedom to simply be without pressure to perform. And that's exactly what disconnection robs us of. It makes every moment feel too full, too fast, too loud. We begin filling every hour, every inbox, every corner of our homes, thinking that maybe if we do more, have more, squeeze in one more task, we'll finally feel caught up. But instead, we feel suffocated, because life wasn't meant to be maximized, it was meant to be felt. When we create utori, we don't lose momentum, we regain meaning. We reconnect to our natural rhythm, one that honors slowness, softness, and silence. And in that silence, something unexpected returns: clarity, that whisper of intuition, that feeling of enoughness, that gentle sense that maybe you don't need to be anything other than what you are. So here's your invitation. Create conscious gaps in your life. Let one drawer in your room remain empty, not because you're lacking, but because you're choosing not to clutter what doesn't need filling. Choose one moment in your day, maybe mid-afternoon, and let it be completely unscheduled. No screens, no to-dos, just space. That silence, it's not absence, it's your sanctuary. And here's something deeper to reflect on. Your outer environment is always echoing your inner state, which brings us to another powerful idea from Japanese culture: shitsurai. It's not decorating, it's not curating for aesthetics. It's placing things with intention, objects that reflect your essence, your season, your story. A single photo, a handmade mug, a folded piece of fabric from someone you love. Shitsurai reminds us that the way we shape our space shapes us back. Because when you're disconnected, your home often becomes a dumping ground full of things that no longer speak to you. But when you reconnect, even the smallest object becomes sacred, a mirror of what you value, a memory of who you were, a quiet promise of who you're becoming. And the more your space begins to reflect your truth, the easier it becomes to live it. So, don't aim for perfection, aim for presence. Choose one item this week that feels like you. Not the you others expect, but the real, unfiltered, evolving version. Give it a place of honor, let it remind you. You are allowed to live intentionally. You are allowed to slow down. You are allowed to reclaim your space inside and out. What's one small space you can clear today, not just physically, but emotionally? Share it in the comments. Let's create room for what really matters. And if this message is creating space in your heart, hit subscribe. There's so much more to come. And this is only the beginning. Gives me peace, not pressure, attention. Who and what truly deserve the best of me? When you start asking these questions, you stop living from comparison and start living from clarity. The truth is, you were never meant to keep up with everything. You were meant to keep in touch with yourself. You see, we often mistake disconnection for laziness, but maybe your resistance to doing more isn't failure, it's wisdom. Maybe that stillness you feel drawn to is your nervous system asking for mercy. Maybe the reason you feel uninspired, burnt out, or numb isn't because something is wrong with you, but because you've been chasing a version of life that was never truly yours. In a culture that tells you more is the answer to everything: more hustle, more goals, more self-improvement. It takes courage to say, no, I have enough, I am enough. That is not settling, that is sovereignty. And that shift, when it happens quietly inside of you, changes everything. Because when you stop trying to earn your worth through productivity, you start honoring your worth through presence. So, here's your quiet revolution. Don't upgrade, uncover, peel back the layers of expectation. Let go of the noise, and listen to what your soul is gently asking. What if I didn't need to fix myself, but simply needed to feel myself again? Try this gentle reflection. The enough inventory. Take out a piece of paper and draw 4 sections. Clothing, time, money, attention. Under each, answer honestly, what do I already have that brings me peace? What am I holding on to that's draining me? And what is enough for this season of my life, not forever, just for now? Let this be your permission to redefine success on your own terms. Because this journey isn't about doing more. It's about becoming more connected to your body, your breath, your values, your truth. And when you live from that place, your life stops feeling like a performance and starts feeling like a homecoming. So, what is enough for you? In your space, your time, your heart? Let us know in the comments. Your clarity might help someone else find their way back to themselves too. And if this message found you at the right time, don't forget to subscribe. This isn't the end. It's the beginning of a slower, softer, more intentional life. One that no longer demands that you do more to be enough, because you already are. To you, define your reconnection. Instead of asking, why can't I stay motivated? Ask, where did I lose myself along the way? Write your own path back in 4 gentle steps. Body, what rituals help me feel safe here? Time, what does a day in alignment truly feel like? Energy, what gives to me and what quietly takes away? Belonging, where do I feel seen, even in stillness? Then keep this list close, not as a checklist, but as a compass. When life pulls you outward again, when the world screams for more, return to this quiet map within. You're not falling behind. You're returning to yourself. And maybe that's the truth you've been circling this whole time. You were never lazy. You were just overwhelmed, disconnected from rhythm, from rest, from your own quiet knowing. But disconnection isn't the end. It's an invitation. One that doesn't demand you to hustle back to normal, but to soften back into presence. And from there, the healing begins not through self-discipline, but through self-remembering. Because what if you didn't need to do more to feel whole? What if you simply needed to pause, to clear a little space, to sit with your breath, to ask one question with radical honesty? Is this me, or is this what I thought I had to be? You don't need a new life. You just need to return to the one that's always been yours, the one waiting beneath the noise, the one that speaks not in ambition, but in alignment, not in pressure, but in presence. And when you live from that place, you stop chasing peace and start becoming it. So now I ask you, if you had to name one part of yourself you're ready to reconnect with, what would it be? Drop it in the comments. You never know who might need to read your answer. And if this video stirred something inside you, if it gave you a breath, a pause, a beginning, share it. Let's grow this space into a quiet revolution. One of conscious living, gentle awareness, and deep reconnection. And if you haven't yet, subscribe. Not just for more content, but as a promise to yourself that you're ready to stop abandoning who you are and finally come home. See you in the next one.